And welcome back to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. I'm Pavlina, and I'll be with you for this next half hour. In part 2 of our program, we'll have an interview with Anna Dombrovska of Ottawa, and she'll be telling us how Ukraine is dealing with COVID-19 on the Eastern Warfront. As well, our usual proverb of the week, and some great Ukrainian music. So coming up next is Anatoly Rudenko and the Folklore Ensemble Kyiv with Marichko.
Ой, Марічко, чичери, 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 розчеши ми кучері, 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 розчеши ми кучері, кучері, кучері. Я би тобі чесала, 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 коли мати не знала, не знала, не знала, коли мати не знала, не знала, не знала. Мати буде дивитися, будеся дивити, я се буду ганьбити, будуся ганьбити, я се буду ганьбити, будуся ганьбити. Марічко, люблю тя, заріж мені когутя, 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 заріж мені когутя, когутя, когутя. Ой, Марічко, чичери, 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 розчеши ми кучері, 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 розчеши ми кучері, кучері, кучері.
Now, just like with other countries, the healthcare system in Ukraine is struggling to deal with the COVID-19 epidemic. The Catholic Church is stepping in to help the most vulnerable. Volunteers from parishes and various Catholic charitable organizations are distributing masks, food, hygiene products, and health safety information to the elderly, the homeless, needy families, and hospitals. One such organization is the Catholic Near East Welfare Association, also known as CNUA, which supports the humanitarian efforts of Eastern churches in the Middle East, Northeast Africa, India, and Eastern Europe. On April 24th, in response to a call to Catholics by Pope Francis to remember the vulnerable and the poor during the COVID-19 pandemic, the Catholic Near East Welfare Association launched a campaign inviting Canadians to help those in need in these areas. Recently, I spoke with Anna Dombrovska, a project officer who coordinates CNUA work in Ukraine. Hi, Anna. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hello, Paulette. Thank you for the invitation.
You are no stranger to the show. We have had you on once or twice before. And, of course, you're probably no stranger to listeners who may also recognize your voice from listening to the Ukrainian Hour in Ottawa.
Yes, I was lucky to meet Irina Bell, the host and the producer of the Chin Radio Ottawa Ukrainian program. And it was back probably 7 or 8 years, I even don't remember. So I was volunteering from time to time, recording the whole program or doing some interviews, mostly about in events in Ottawa or in general in Ukrainian community. So that was a very interesting thing to do. I'm not a professional, so I learned as I worked on those interviews. It's a pleasure that we have a good network of Ukrainian radio programs in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, we all learn as we go. We're on the very few of us, with the exception here and there of a few who actually trained as professional broadcasters. But we all just jumped in because we had a message to share, and some of us predate social media, and of course now it's with all the technology, it's easy for just about anybody now to share their message. How long have you been at the radio show in Ottawa?
I don't know exactly, but it's probably 7-8 years because I came to Canada 12 years ago, back in 2007. And it was a couple of years after that, after I received my college degree in Canada, my second education. So roughly 7-8 years, I think. After I graduated from college, Irina Bell approached me and she asked if I would like to record an interview in Ukrainian. So I jumped on this opportunity. It was interesting, it was new, and it was a great new thing for me to learn and also interact with people who are active in the Ukrainian community. So since then, I've been helping as much as I can with a full-time job as well. This is a volunteering task. So I've been helping Pani Irena here and there to record interviews and sometimes program. So yeah, if you're in Ottawa, you can tune in at 97.9 FM, or with modern technology, it's easy to listen anywhere in the world using platforms such as Streama or TuneIn. That's not a problem. We also have podcasts. So if you're into podcasts, they're available on chinradioottawa.com.
Great. Yeah. Let listeners tune into Nash Holos from your part of the world as well. It's just so easy now.
Yeah, and that's connecting everybody.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you like to volunteer for causes, and you volunteered for another one. This one dealing very much with the reality of the world today. And tell us a little bit about it and how you got involved with it and what you're doing.
So I started working with CNEWA, CNEWA, 3 years ago, and it was also through the Ukrainian community. So my predecessor, Antin Sloboda, found a different continuation of his career. He's a military chaplain right now in Winnipeg. So I was interviewed and got this position that's I would say is something that I was dreaming about, is to be a kind of a liaison between Ukraine and Canada, and to help with projects that help people. So basically, in my position of a projects officer, I do a couple of things. Definitely, there is quite a lot of project administration work that is not very exciting, but has to be done. And there is also a part where I give interviews, or where I go to Ukraine and see the projects in the field, on the spot, right where they happen, and interact with people. So I'm involved in daily interactions with our partners in Ukraine. And CNEWA works with three main official agents in Ukraine. This is Caritas Ukraine, Patriarchal Curia of Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, and the Ukrainian Catholic University. So through these three main agents, we send funds to other programs that could be with the smaller partners. But when we have those agents, it's a requirement of Canadian government. It helps us to maintain transparency and have our reporting on the best level to our donors. So let's say with CNEWA, we serve in different countries, and Ukraine is one of them. As you mentioned, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church is a Catholic Church of Eastern Rite. So CNEWA is dedicated to serving Catholic churches of Eastern Rite in 12 countries for now. And Ukrainian one is the largest Eastern Rite Catholic Church in the world.
Oh, you know what? I did not realize that. I guess I should have.
Apparently, yes, and it's a world church.
Yes.
It is in different countries. Definitely, most of the population is in Ukraine. Though in Ukraine, it is in minority still. Right now, and probably since 1991, this is the year when Ukraine became independent and the church came out of underground, even a bit earlier, and CNEWA started helping Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. So since
that far, that long ago.
Yeah. Since it was possible. So since then, church spread and developed in Ukraine, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. I'm talking about from the west to central to east to south to, let's say, Bukovina, where there is not such a big impact and presence of Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, in Volyn as well. So historically, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church is getting back to where it was, and spreading throughout Ukraine. It doesn't happen very quickly. There is a lot of resistance and misunderstanding, but because Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church has this humanitarian part and its social services part of it that is very strong, That's why it appeals to people. A lot of people in southern and in eastern Ukraine are in big trouble, have been for 6 years since the start of the war. And these regions are sometimes much more poor than those in the west or in the center. So the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church comes in with a helping hand, with the good news, with the hope. So with the help of Christ.
So the spiritual support as well as material support.
Yes, it should come together, and this is something that I would say historically the Orthodox, specifically Russian Orthodox Church, was lacking. So it was more of a control than actually helping and supporting the people. So with Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, we can see that there is a practical help there on the ground.
And the organization CNEWA, CNEWA, has been around for quite a while then. You said it was in Ukraine even prior to independence in 1991 when people were coming out of the catacombs and out from the underground and starting to, I guess, churches were starting to become churches again, being restored from museums and warehouses and whatever else the communists turned them into.
CNEWA started helping once Ukraine became independent, but the organization itself was founded in 1926, so that's quite an old one. It was founded by Pope Pius XI. The headquarters is in New York, and in 2005, an office in Canada was open that is now specializing on projects in different countries, but also with special attention to projects in Ukraine. Well, that's why I'm a projects officer being here in Ottawa.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then it was around since the 1920s. During the communist time, was this organization aware of what was going on with the church being driven underground during the Soviet era?
I don't think there was any possibility to help officially or even unofficially at that point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church was destroyed, was persecuted by the communists, and now we see how much damage made to the population.
And so now it's a work of restoration. And it wasn't until COVID-19 pandemic and this work that you're doing that I was even aware of this organization and the work that it's doing and has been doing. So thanks for bringing our attention to it. And so tell us what exactly is it that you are doing now, and how can Canadians help?
Well, we usually have the pastoral projects and humanitarian projects, but now with the COVID-19, all the regular projects has been put on hold, and now we're launching an emergency campaign to help those who are in need due to COVID pandemic. In Ukraine, we have a couple of initiatives that we would like to support, and these are mainly run by Caritas Ukraine. Caritas Ukraine is a part of the church. And most of the initiatives are aimed at helping the most vulnerable. So if something like a pandemic happens, those who suffer first are the most vulnerable and socially unprotected people. And we know that there are many such people and families in Ukraine, especially amplified by war. We have orphans, we have single mothers, we have grandparents, elderly people who don't have anyone to take care of them. We also face the problem of a high rate of infection among doctors and nurses in Ukraine. And that is now as of May 19, we have almost 4,000 doctors being infected and 21 on ventilators in Ukraine. And this is 1/5 of all those who were recorded officially infected by the COVID in Ukraine. So that's one of the major problems. That's why Patriarchal Curia of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church also would like to help the doctors and would like to host them in their facilities for free, but they also need help, so we fundraise for that. So let's say the doctors have their shifts in the hospital, and after that they have to self-isolate in order not to harm their relatives. So the church is providing their facilities and meals to those doctors who work at the hospitals. So that's one of the examples of the help that you can support through KNEVA in Ukraine. And also another one is a big project. It's a ecumenical project where different churches unite together, and together with the municipal authorities and with the other nonprofit organizations. And this project is called Kovchech. It's led by the Sheptytsky Hospital, a unique Catholic hospital in Lviv. So they have a couple of initiatives within this Kovchech project. And if you would like to support it, you can also support parts of this project with KNEVA. So one of the easiest thing and the most important is to feed those who are most vulnerable, those who cannot move, those who are alone in their homes. And we're talking about Lviv right now. So let's say people who are immobile, who do not have enough means to, or even the ability to step out and to buy products for themselves, and who are most susceptible to the virus, that those are the elderly people. So the hospital, together with the Sheptytsky Hospital, together with the Caritas Ukraine, cook the meals, hot meals, and they deliver a set to people's homes for them to be able to feed 3 times a day. So that's one of the initiatives. And another initiative is the Sheptytsky Hospital is organizes medical brigades, like a mobile medical teams. Sometimes people cannot get to the hospital, or they cannot take a test for COVID. Well, those brigades or teams are equipped to help those who are out of reach or cannot go there, or simply to provide a phone consultation. So these are kind of a very small part of all the initiatives that are currently happening in Ukraine, that are organized under the umbrella of Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church by a special committee that was formed to help all the projects and initiatives, COVID initiatives in Ukraine.
So I guess government resources are pretty limited then?
The church, and every time we're talking about those projects, there is a dialogue with the government. And if we're talking about Lviv project with the Sheptytsky Hospital, the city of Lviv is taking part in it. But as we know, the health system in Ukraine has never been on a very high level. And current pandemic revealed how weak it is. So there is a need of help there. There is a need of help in a social services system. It has never been on a top level. So the church feels there is a need, and not only feels, there is statistics, there are people, there are displaced persons who need that help.
Yeah, well, people fleeing from the war-torn areas that before the COVID outbreak were in pretty dire straits to begin with.
Yeah, and Caritas has already launched initiatives throughout Ukraine, like very simple ones, small ones, but they also did a lot of work in eastern Ukraine, like next to the front line. The parish social minister, this is the project that KNEVA has been supporting for the 3rd year, has now transformed and taking into account the needs that are there. So basically, parish volunteers took fabric and took their sewing machines and created masks.
Wow.
And they were going to the villages there near Severodonetsk, Muratove. So this is all very close to the front line. They were going there and talking to people, telling them about what is COVID, how to protect themselves, giving them those masks. And sometimes those people don't have even a TV at home. We're not talking about internet.
Right.
So yeah, and it was important for them to hear the answers to the questions about what is going on and what to do. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of cases there. However, in Ukraine, there are many cases of pneumonia, but not COVID.
Oh.
So we don't know if those cases are actually COVID or they're pneumonia.
So what you're doing in Canada then is mostly fundraising to support, to purchase food and other medical equipment, fabric for masks, and basically to sustain the volunteers there.
Yes, in a nutshell, that's the most basic need, and that's the important undertaking by the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church now.
So for those of us who are able to, how can we help out?
That's understandable that not everyone can help right now. There is a tough situation here, but if you can, in Ukraine, you will really make a difference. So you can make a donation to KNEWA. The easiest way would be through CNEWA.ca website, because you don't have to contact anyone.
Right.
But so you can also call us at 1-866-322-441. Or just send us a check, and the address is 1247 Kilburn Place, Ottawa, Ontario. We are very grateful for any donation that comes in these tough times.
Well, I mean, it is tough. Many people here are in dire straits as well. So anybody that can afford to, even a few dollars, even like $5 helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, that would definitely help. And certain things are much cheaper in Ukraine or in other parts of the world, like where we serve it. In Syria, for example, and Ethiopia, let's say a couple of dollars will make a difference there.
Yeah. Okay, so easy enough then, KNEWA, CNEWA.ca, online, and again, the phone numbers, we'll post that in the show notes. Thank you so much for doing the work that you do, Anna, and thanks for coming on the show and sharing the information, and I certainly learned something about this, and we'll definitely be making a donation to KNEWA to help your efforts in Ukraine and elsewhere in the world.
Thank you very much.
Не завидуй багатому, багатий не знає ні приязні, ні любові, він все те наймає. Не завидуй могучому, бо той заставляє. Не завидуй і славному, славний добре знає, що не його люди люблять, а ту тяжку славу, що він тяжкими сльозами вилив на забаву. А молоді, як зійдуться, то любо та тихо, як у раї, а дивишся, ворушиться лихо. Не завидуй же нікому, дивись кругом себе, нема раю на всій землі, та нема й на небі.
And that was Alexei Kirikesha with Fata Morgana and Nizavadui. На жаль, ми вже скінчили нашу програму, ще часу домові сказати до побачення, але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Якщо хочеш щось мати, то не потрібно тобі на ману чекати. And our proverb of the week translates as, if you want to have something, you do not have to wait for manna from heaven. And with that, we've come to the end of our program. You've been listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on CHLY 101.7 FM. In Nanaimo, please stay with us as Stefan Andrusiak joins us with Nasha Kasha from London, Ontario. Meanwhile, please join Oksana and me back here again next Wednesday from 11 a.m. till 12:30. And until then, do stay in touch with both of us via our Facebook page. And make sure to visit the Nash Holos website for audio files, transcripts, a link to our podcast, and other information about the show. And that's www.nashholos.com. You can also find Nash Holos on Mixcloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other podcast places, and of course on your favorite podcast app. So stay tuned next for Nasha Kasha, followed by Wellness Wednesday to learn how to be healthy naturally. I'm Pavlina. Thanks so much for listening. Do zустрічі.